International Open Academy is a good site, reputable, and I recommend that to Pretoria. I drove to Pretoria 1, 2, and then the second time I asked my mom, guys. Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I haven't posted a video in so long. I'm literally recording at work because I never ever have time. If you can hear the sound of the heater, I apologize. It's raining and it's a little bit cold, so yes. I hope you guys can hear me because there's a bit of an echo in the office. It's just me, my co-teacher is in the other room teaching, so yes. As you can see by the title of this video, we are going to be talking about breakdown of the documents that you'll need to move to Korea, as well as the costs of those documents. So I'm gonna try and keep this video very short. If you see me looking down a lot, it's because I have notes. So yes, and you can pause this video if I'm speaking too fast. It's just that I literally have an hour to get this done. Otherwise I'm never gonna get it done. So yes, if you are a returning subscriber, you know that all my love goes to you. And if you're a new subscriber, thank you very much for clicking on this video. I hope you like it enough to stay. Okay, let's not waste any more time. Let's talk about what you're going to need to move to South Korea. Okay, so first things first, you're going to need your degree. Okay, so number one, you're going to need your degree. It can be in any field. If you have a teaching degree, you will get more money. So yes. Number two, you're going to need your TESOL or TEFL certificate. Mine is a TESOL certificate and I got it in 2021 via the International Open Academy. I'm going to link everything in my description box. Everything that needs to be like websites and stuff, I'm going to link them in my description box so you can check them out there as well. So for my TESOL certificate, I paid actually I paid 500 Rand on the dot, but this was in 2021, so I don't know how much it costs now. It's probably higher, it's probably lower. Last time I checked it was like 498. So yes, International Open Academy is a good site, reputable, and I recommend that you do the 120-hour TESOL certificate. A lot of companies that don't accept anything under 120 hours, so make sure it's 120 hours plus. Okay, next thing you're going to need are 2 recommendation letters from places of work or your university, right? And you can't have 2 recommendation letters from the same person. I think yes. And the most important part about these recommendation letters is they have to be ink signed. So if your recommendation letter has a digital signature or they just typed their name, it's not going to work. They're going to send your application back, and sending your application costs a lot of money. We're going to talk about that a little bit later on, but just make sure that it's ink signed. Like the person who's writing your recommendation letter is literally signing it with a pen. Okay, the next thing you're going to need is your proof of schooling. This is specifically for South African applicants. The proof of schooling that you're going to need is from grade 7 to grade 12. So all the schools that you went to from grade 7 to grade 12 need to be English mediums, because in your proof of schooling they need to write that all your studies were conducted in English. That's essentially why they need a proof of schooling, to see that you actually conducted, well, they conducted your education in English. Yes, so I went to my primary school with my ID. Yes, just my ID. Oh, and my birth certificate as well, abridged and unabridged, because I changed my surname. So my surname in high school and my surname in primary school were not the same, and the surname on my ID is the one that I used in high school. So I had to go so they can, see that it's actually me. So that happened. It took a week for them to look for me through the database and type out the letter and give it to me. So after a week, they called me to tell me that, hey, come and get your letter. I didn't set up an appointment or anything, but again, this was 3 years ago, so I don't know how it works now. I didn't call to ask for an appointment or anything. I literally went to the front office, explained the whole process, that I'm applying to teach abroad. This is what they need. This is how they need it. Is it possible? And they said yes, and they did it. So on the day that I went to go and collect my proof of schooling from my primary school, that's when I went to high school. Fortunately, at my high school, the ladies who work at the front office, shout out to Miss Mare and Miss Tlada, they were so helpful. They already had the template on the school's computer, so I didn't even have to show them the template of the letter. They already knew what I needed, so I just gave them my ID. They ran it through the database and typed the letter, and then they took it to the principal to go and sign it. Fortunately, the principal, Miss Henning, was also there, so she just signed it and I was on my way. So that took 1 day. Again, with my high school, I didn't call or anything. I literally just popped in the front office, and this was in 2022. Right. If you haven't watched my previous video, please go and watch it. The years are going to make sense when you watch my previous video. Oh, it's been a long day of speaking English, guys, please forgive me. But yes, in my previous video I do explain that I've been working on moving abroad for almost 4 years now, so that's also the reason why I gathered my documents so early. Okay, cool. So your recommendation letters as well as your proof of schooling, those, as far as I know, are free. You don't need to pay anything for that. Right? Am I missing anything in terms of the proof of schooling? So if you went to different schools, let's say in grade 7 you went to 3 schools, you need to go to all 3 schools and get the proof of schooling. If from grade 8 to grade 12 you went to 12 schools, you need to go to all those 12 schools and get your proof of schooling. I know it's not realistic, but we don't know people's lives out here, so yes, every school that you went to needs to say, yes, we conduct our education in English and this person went to the school. Okay, cool. Next thing you're gonna need is, I feel like I'm forgetting something and I'm gonna remember it at the end of the video, but collab. Okay, cool. Next thing you're gonna need is your ID photo. Okay, so I got mine at Photo First and I got them for 50 rand. I got 4 of them for 50 rand. Guys, if you see me fidgeting with my collar, please don't mind. I think I'm a bit overstimulated. It's really starting to irritate me. So yeah, if you see me holding it like this or anything, please don't mind me. Yes, so your ID photos, 4 of them will cost you 50 rand from Photo First. I do recommend that you get 8 because you're going to use 3 in South Africa. Then you have to apply for other stuff when you get here. So it's just better to have them with you. So maybe you're gonna come to Korea with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Maybe you're gonna come to Korea with 5 ID photos if you do make 8 ID photos in South Africa. So I recommend you do your ID photos or make your ID photos in South Africa because it's a bit of a hassle here. Not a bit, it's a hassle here. Okay, cool. And then number 5, you're going to need to have access to your academic record for your application, right? So when you're in the application process, literally in the first page of your application, they'll ask you about your GPA. I don't know about other schools, I don't know how you can see your GPA, but for UJ, your GPA is on your academic record. Our metric system in South Africa, I don't think we record using GPA. It's for other countries. But the academic record does have, the little, I don't know what it's called, but there's a space at the bottom there that says GPA, right? I don't know my GPA off by heart because we don't talk about GPA in South Africa. We talk about your average, So yes, just have access to your GPA rather, not necessarily your academic record, but your GPA. Cool. Next thing you're gonna need is your passport, right? In South Africa, your passport can cost you maybe 600 rand, plus minus 600, I'm not sure, but you're going to need your passport, obviously. Okay, cool. Number 7, you're going to need your police clearance, right? Your police clearance, for me, it was 180, and I applied for it last year, 2023. So it should still be 180. In 2021 it was 160, and now it's 180. So yes, the whole police clearance chat is very tricky, right? Because a lot of the, I'm sorry, I don't know, I think it's heating up, I don't know what it's doing, but if you can hear it, I'm sorry. So yes, the whole police clearance chat is tricky because a lot of experts will tell you to apply for it first. That could be a disadvantage because let's say you're applying, you're busy with your application process, and then you apply for your police clearance, and then you find out that you weren't successful in your interview. You can't reuse your police clearance for the next what do you call it, season, the next season for application, right? Because with Epic, the program that I'm with, they only have 2 application seasons. They have 2 or 4. 2. They have the fall and spring and fall. Spring is my intake, which is the first intake, so the beginning of the year, that's the spring intake, and then in the middle of the year, August, that's the fall intake. So you can't reuse your police clearance for the fall intake because your police clearance is only valid for 3 months. So if you do make your police clearance before your interview is successful, and then they tell you that actually your interview wasn't successful, you just wasted 180, right? So that's the one disadvantage. The other disadvantage is that, say, okay, cool, you wait for them to tell you that your application was successful, your interview was great, you passed, then you have to go and apply for your police clearance. You need to apply for it literally the day after they tell you that your interview was successful. You need to go and apply for a police clearance, otherwise you won't get it in time for you to actually be able to leave, right? I applied for my police clearance maybe a week after I was told that my application was successful, everything is great, my interview went well. I applied the week after that, and when I tell you, I was stressed, but it took exactly, I think, a month. Yes, it took exactly a month to come out, right? So for my police clearance, I applied for it on the 30th of September, and then I received it on the 22nd of October, right? So yes, another thing is, if you are in a hurry and you are close, you're in Johannesburg, you can go and apply directly at SAPS Central, which is in Pretoria, right? You can go and apply there. That's where all the police clearances go. All the police clearances in the country go to SAPS Central in Pretoria. So if you're in a hurry, and if you're able to, if you live close, you can go and apply there. If not, you can go and apply at your local police station. Yes, it takes longer if you apply at your local police station, because after they release them at the SAPS Central, they have to now take it to your home police station, your local police station, then you have to collect it there. Whereas if you apply directly at SAPS Central, when they release them, they literally send you a text saying your police clearance is out, come and fetch it. So yes, you will do your own math depending on your situation, obviously. Next thing, we're on number 8 now. The next thing that you're going to need is scanned copies of your degree or degrees and your ID, right? So you need to scan your ID, you need to scan your degree or degrees. Okay, number 9 is you need to get your degrees or degree verified with SAQA, South African Qualifications Authority, or Qualification Authority, I don't know. Then with SAQA, you have to get your degrees verified with them. It cost me 610 to verify both my degrees. not 610 each, both of them 610, right? So the process for getting your degree verified is you have to send them an email with scanned copies of your degree or degrees, and I'm gonna say degrees because I have to, with scanned copies of your degrees and your ID, right? After that, they're going to send you a quotation saying your degrees are gonna cost, it's gonna cost this much for us to verify your degrees. Here's your reference number. When you pay, they also give you banking details in the quotation email. When you pay, you have to pay using the reference number that they gave you, right? After paying, they're going to send you like the very digital copies of your verified degree. Then I think maybe a day later they'll call you to tell you to collect them. I collected mine at Brooklyn in Pretoria, the post office in Brooklyn Mall, Pretoria. Okay, so I sent my application. So I sent my degrees, my scanned degrees, as well as my ID on the 8th of August 2023. So you send them an email and you attach those things. You attach your degrees and your your ID, right? Mine were not certified. My ID wasn't certified and both my degrees weren't certified. But if you want to be on the safe side, you can go and certify them first. I'm just telling you that mine weren't certified. I scanned them uncertified, if that's a word. They sent me the quotation on the 31st of August. So I think it took 2 to 3 weeks, right? So in the quotation, they'll also attach your degrees and, what do you call them? Landmark with South African Qualifications Authority quotation. So you won't even be able to download it and use it because it will literally be landmark quotation. Yes. And then I received them on the 10th of October. So I paid on the 22nd of September. They sent me the quotation on the 31st of August. I paid on the 22nd of September. Then I got them back on the 10th of October. And I collected them probably shortly after that. I didn't go 3 days without having collected them. So after they send you the email, shortly after that they'll tell you go and collect them at Brooklyn Mall in Pretoria or wherever. Okay, where are we? Okay, number 10. After all of that, you are going to have to get your documents apostilled, right? Your degrees are going to you need to go and get them apostilled. Where? At DIRCO. DIRCO. DIRCO, Department of International Relations and something, I don't know. It's in Pretoria as well. Okay, let me check. DIRCO is the Department of International Relations and Cooperation in Pretoria. I recently being last week, I recently heard that DIRCO is allowing walk-ins. So after you get your things, after you get your police clearance and you get your degrees from SAQA, you're going to take all of that and you're going to get it apostilled by DIRCO, right? And it's 850 per document. For DIRCO, I don't have the exact prices because if I can tell you guys my story with DIRCO, so yes, it's 850 per document. According to Google, it's 850 per document, right? Unfortunately, I can't tell you how much I paid again because, So my story is, after getting all my documents, I walked to DIRCO, right? Well, I didn't walk. I parked somewhere in Pretoria and then I walked to DIRCO, thinking that they allow walk-ins, right? And then I get to the reception and they tell me that actually we don't allow walk-ins. You have to courier these documents to us. Then I went to the nearest postnet, which is literally diagonal to DIRCO. I went there and they were like, yes, they don't allow walk-ins right now. We have to courier them there, right? The courier service cost me maybe 900. I remember because I was really broke, but it cost me plus minus 900 rand, right? And it cost me that much because of the proximity of Durko to Postnet. I used Postnet, not the post office. Postnet, right? So the further the Durko is from the Postnet that you are going to be couriering. That's not a word. I don't know. Transporting the documents with, like, the further that Postnet is, the more money it's going to cost. That's what they told me at that Postnet. Because I wanted to go home. I was like, okay, fine, I'll just go home and then courier from the Postnet that's close to my house. And they were like, no, don't do that. Where do you live? And I told them where I live, and they were like, you're going to pay too much money because it's too far. We're closer, so it's going to be less expensive. Yes, but I don't think you're going to need that because you're going to take yourself to Durko if possible. If not, use a courier service. Okay, cool. So at Durko, so I went, this whole story about Durko and Postnet, right, was on the 31st of October. So I submitted my documents on the 31st of October for Durko, and they were ready on the 2nd of January. They were supposed to be ready earlier than that, but it was festive season, and apparently there were some delays at Durko, so they were only ready on the 2nd of January. But when they said they were ready, they meant ready as in they're here, but someone has to come and fetch them. Fortunately, because I used the courier service, Durko couriered my documents to Postnet, the Postnet that I used. So the Postnet that is close to Durko is in Queenswood. It's Postnet Queenswood. So they took my documents to Postnet Queenswood, and then on the 3rd, they called me at Postnet, the 3rd of January, they called me at Postnet Queenswood, and they were like, hey, your documents are here. Are you going to come and fetch them, or should we courier them? And they told me that it's 109 to courier them to Randfontein. So now you have all these documents, child. Finally, you have all these documents, right? You're going to put them together, right? So you have your application with your photo. So you're going to have to paste your ID picture on your application because you're actually going to physically send your application, right? So what do you have so far? You have your application with the photo, you have your ink signed recommendations, you have your proof of schooling letters, you have your police clearance, your verification letters, you have your apostille degree or degrees, and your test hall certificate. Cool. Now what? Now you have to send your documents to Korea. Okay. For the program that I'm with, EPIC specifically, they told me that do not use a national postal service. Hey, I don't know. They just told me to not use the post office. Basically, they said I can use private companies to mail my things, but not the post office because it takes too long. So I used Postnet. You can use DHL, you can use the courier guy. Postnet charged me 980 to send those documents. They'll be in an envelope that's about this thick and this long, right? Yes, so they charged me 980 to send my documents to Korea. They send the documents straight to the EPIC offices, right? So yeah, it shouldn't be problematic. And then they provided that your documents are in order, everything is in order, they will start to process your application. That's the crazy part. Like, you're doing all this work and you're not even sure if you're gonna 100% leave yet, right? Only after they've processed your application is when you can be like, okay, there's a chance that I'm leaving. Okay, cool. So after they've processed your documents and processed your application and seen that everything is okay, they're gonna send you the contract. details for your visa application. After they send all of that, they're going to hold on, actually I should tell you the time frame, right? Oh my gosh, I knew it. Do you guys see what I'm talking about? I literally knew that I was forgetting something. You're going to need a sealed transcript. When I was talking about the academic record, I knew I was forgetting something. Anyway, you're going to need a sealed academic record or academic transcript. Okay. So with UJ, this process was a bit problematic for me, right? Because they needed to stamp my academic record, and they are very strict with the stamp in the humanities faculty. So they were taking me back and forth, but eventually they stamped it. So what I did is I printed out my academic record, right? Because I don't know about other higher education institutions, but in UJ you can print out your own academic record, right? So I printed out my academic record and I went to the faculty and explained everything to them, that I'm leaving, they needed to be sealed. If it's not sealed, then it doesn't count, right? And then she's not the dean, I don't know who she is, but the person in charge of the stamp stamped my academic record, right? I'm sitting up straight because this is you need to listen, like be attentive. After that, you're gonna put it in an envelope and you're gonna close the envelope. Don't open the envelope under any circumstance. Do not open the envelope. If you mail your things with an open transcript, they will send your application back and say your application couldn't be processed because your transcript is not valid because it comes from an open envelope. They are very strict here, especially this program. EPIC is very strict. So please, I will repeat it. Go and print out your academic record. Go to your faculty, get it stamped. Put the stamped academic record inside the envelope. Close the envelope, seal it. Leave it. Please don't open it. I know, I was so tempted, but I was like, I know what my academic record looks like. I don't need to open this. When you send all your documents now, right? With Postnet or DHL or Courier Guide, when you send your verification letters, police clearance, all these things, your sealed academic record or transcript is going to be in those documents, right? So you're gonna put that envelope in those documents. Okay, cool. Okay, so I sent my documents, like all my documents, that entire pile that I'm telling you about, the envelope that's this thick and this long, I sent it on the 11th of January, and then I got my result on the 18th of January, which is my final placement. So here, after they process your application and everything, they can put you in a school. Before they put you in a school, nothing is guaranteed. Okay, cool. So after they send you back, they're gonna send you, as I said, details for your visa application and all of that. You're gonna go and you're gonna apply for a visa. If you're going to Pretoria directly to the Korean embassy and you're going to apply for your visa there, sorrows, prayers. Because that woman, Natalie, I don't know what her name is, the lady who works at the visa application office, if you know, you know. If you're doing your visa application directly, I'm praying for you. Please don't go there thinking that you know. You will be humbled. Even if you're humble, you'll be humbled even more. So just prepare yourself emotionally. She's not a very nice person. She's very rude and standoffish and very condescending. So just prepare yourself. So yes, I think you can also apply for your visa via courier, but I'm not going to speak on that because I don't know. I'm not sure. I haven't done it, right? So you're going to go and you're going to apply for your visa. That's going to cost you 1,050 rands. I think I will make another video about the whole application process, like the actual application form, maybe the visa application form if I'm allowed. I don't know if I'm allowed to, but I will. So yes, you're gonna go and apply for your visa, which is gonna cost you 1,050 rands, and your visa is going to take at least 7 days. Your visa application is going to take 7 days before you can get your results. So I don't remember when I went, like the visa application process was so traumatic for me. I don't even want to remember anything about it. So I didn't even write down the dates for when I applied and when I got it back. All I know is that I took 4 trips to Pretoria. My mom to please take me, because yes. Okay, cool. So now you have applied for your visa and your visa is approved. We're putting it into the universe. Your visa will be approved. What now? Now you're ready to go. Now it's guaranteed. You are leaving for real, okay? Now you're gonna purchase your plane ticket. This is gonna cost you anywhere from 12,000 to I don't know, but yeah, 12,000 budget, 12,000. You know, if you're on the softer side of life, you can use Qatar. Yes, Qatar, Fly Emirates. I don't know Fly Emirates, but Qatar, yes. If you're on the not so softer side of life, like some of us, you can use Cathay Pacific, Ethiopian Airlines, or I think Singapore Airlines, right? I used Cathay Pacific and my plane ticket cost me 12,000 rand. I'm saying plus minus because 2 days before that, it was 9,000. It was 9,000 2 days before that, but I couldn't buy the plane ticket 2 days before because my visa hadn't been approved yet. So yes, and Epic is not responsible if maybe you anticipate that, oh, you know, my visa is going to be approved, and then you buy your plane ticket before your visa is approved, and then your visa comes back and it's not approved, and you can't change the dates for your plane. Epic is going to be like, so just buy the plane ticket after your visa has been approved, right? After it's guaranteed. Yes. So cool. Now we've spoken about everything that you're going to need in South Africa to get here. Now you're here. Okay. What are you gonna need when you're here, and what's gonna be the cost? Okay, so you're going to need 50,000 won for your medical check. That's 680 rands, right? Guys, if you don't have money for anything else, anything, please make sure you have money for this, because your medical check is literally make or break here. Your medical check is what's going to allow you to get your ARC. Your ARC is your ID here. Your ARC is what's going to allow you to open your bank account and get a phone number. So if you don't have a medical check, you're doomed. You need to get that medical check done, right? Don't worry about it. If you are applying via Epic, don't worry about it. They do it for you, but you still have to pay immediately. Literally, like when you get to the offices, they do the medical check in the hall. When you get to the hall, the first thing they want is the money. So if you don't have the money, you're not doing it. Okay, then you're gonna need 30,000 won for your ARC, which is your alien registration card. That's plus minus 410 rand. Then you're going to need your SIM card, your Korean SIM card, which can cost you plus minus 10,000 won, which is 136. And the reason for this is because I haven't heard of a Korean SIM card that does not have a SIM plan. Maybe you can buy a prepaid. Yes, we're actually gonna go into that at the end when I'm giving you tips now, like general tips. And then Wi-Fi, to get Wi-Fi installed in your apartment is gonna cost you plus minus 22,000 won, and that's 300 rand. Okay, cool. So all in all, you're going to need, if I'm fidgeting a lot, I'm really sorry. I just haven't sat in front of the camera in a really long time, so I'm very self-conscious and a little bit shy. So yes, if I'm fidgeting, if I'm too fidgety, I apologize. So all in all, that's gonna cost you plus minus 20, let's say 20,000 rand. 20,000 rand. We haven't taken into consideration the transport costs, right? So obviously I can't estimate transport costs because I don't know your situation, right? I don't know if you're taking a taxi, are you driving? If you're driving, what are you driving? Is it a big car? Is it a small car? Is it a motorcycle? I don't know. So 25,000 rand, 20,000 rand minus transport costs, minus pocket money, right? So this 20,000 rand that I'm talking about, it doesn't include transport costs and it doesn't include your pocket money, right? So I would say maybe 5,000 rand for pocket money, not pocket money, 5,000 rand for general costs, like costs surrounding all of this, all these activities, because you're gonna go, maybe let's say you're going to Pretoria, right? That's a lot of money. You're gonna want to eat something and a day. If you're not taking a skafti with you, you're gonna want to eat something and a day. That's more money, right? So that's why I'm saying 25,000 rand, because like the costs that are associated with this 20,000 rand, they also accumulate. Okay, cool. Pocket money, they're on the Epic website. They'll probably tell you to come with plus minus 15 to 20k, which is 15 to 20,000. That's a lot of money. When I saw that, my heart sank. So I just told my mom that, look, I'm gonna try and survive on 10,000. I'm sure I can survive on 10,000. So my mom, bless her, she loaned me 10,000, and I used some of it in South Africa because there were still things that I needed to get together before leaving. So I actually came to Korea with 8,000, and I survived. Like, I was able to buy a few things that I needed. I survived, guys. By the time payday came, I had about 500 still in my bank account. So I would say that I survived. But obviously you have to spend your money wisely. You know, you have to be very, very picky about what you are eating, where you're going, all these things, right? Yeah. Okay, so at the end of the video, I'm going to give you some tips, like general tips. If you're gonna buy new suitcases, go to China Mall. Go to China Mall. They're very cheap. I got mine for 2,000 and they're very wide. If you haven't seen them, please go on my previous video. Go and watch my previous video so you can see them. Yes, they're very wide. They're really cute, and I got them for 2,000 rand. Apply for the SIM card at home. If it's possible, you can apply for a Korean SIM card back at home. You can apply for a prepaid Korean SIM card back at home. And listen, I know that a lot of content creators, especially who are expats, will tell you, oh, there's Wi-Fi in Korea. You will struggle. You will struggle. Get that SIM, if you can, get that SIM card on the first day that you arrive here. You're gonna wanna order things online. You're gonna wanna do things, and you're not gonna be able to do those things because you won't have a phone number. So, yeah. This one is the most important. I should have started with this one. Get an adapter. Get an adapter for South African plugs. If maybe you're gonna, actually not maybe, you are gonna have to come with your laptop. When you come with a laptop and it's a 3-prong laptop, the one that's like this, my dear, and you don't have an adapter, you'll cry, like I did. Because as if it's not enough that in Korea they don't have like the plugs that are like this, they don't even sell the adapters for the plugs that are like this, because plugs that are like this here are unheard of. So take it from me, get it on Take a Lot. It's probably like 150 to 200 rand. Get it on Take a Lot. Listen, if there's one thing you're gonna do right, it's to buy that travel adapter. Okay. Bring spices. bring your raja, bring your soups. As you guys saw in my previous video, by now, if you're at this point of this video and you still haven't watched my previous video, but yes, as you guys saw in my previous video, I literally had a whole compartment in my suitcase of just South African spices, like soups, spices, beef stock. You're gonna need them. You're gonna need them. Don't let them lie to you. Don't let them lie to you. You're going to need them. If you don't cook, maybe not. But if you know that you like to cook and you know you like your home cooked meals and stuff, you'll cry. Measure the suitcases before getting to the airport, right? If you want to cry at the airport, don't measure. If you want to not cry at the airport, measure the suitcases. And with this one, honestly, I'm not exaggerating. It may bring you to tears because they'll tell you that it's 3,000 rand extra. So let's say you bought your plane ticket and everything. Now you're at the airport on the day that you're supposed to leave, and your suitcase is overweight. They'll tell you it's 3,000 extra. You have to pay 3,000 there on the spot. There, 3,000 rand, and that's one suitcase. So if you have two suitcases that are both overweight, you're paying 6,000, and they don't care if it's 10 kilograms overweight or if it's 1 kilogram overweight. It's 3,000 all the way. So yeah, we were there kneeling at the airport, taking things out. It was a mess. It was crazy. But yes, and last but not least, and definitely something that you should practice throughout your entire application process, is patience. You will learn how to wait. You will wait until you'll cry, you'll be fine, you'll laugh, you'll smile. But at the end of the day, you'll get here. So thank you very much for watching this video. I really hope that it was helpful. If you have any more questions, I'm scared to say, please comment down below with your questions, because I don't know if I'm going to be able to answer all of them, but I'm going to try and answer all of them. If you have any more questions, please comment down below with your questions and I will try my best to answer them. Thank you very much for watching this video. Please stay tuned for my other vlogs and I will see you in the next one.